Developers design Dota heroes. Patch notes keep them in check, guides teach people how to play, but players redefine heroes. Topson'S Diffusal Gyro asked,
"When your mana's gone, what do you do?"
Bulldog's Furion made the world learn split push. Those who didn't do their homework lost. Akke's Chen made every game feel like 8 versus 5, and Micke's Windranger deleted heroes like a But Dota history rarely tells the whole story. Were those heroes always that good, or do we only remember them because of the specific pro player playstyle that defined a part of their history? Using SAP's data archive, we've been able to look deeper than memory alone and dive into 4 stories where the players and the heroes became almost impossible to separate. When you think of Gyrocopter, it's hard to not hear that one quiet line from TI9 Grand Finals. Nobody on OG seemed surprised, just the usual OG stuff, voice line spam, and a few Topson'S tips. But outside of the soundproof TI boost, this idea was far from normal. Before that Grand Finals, players had bought Diffusal Blade on Gyrocopter only 13 times across recorded semi-pro and pro matches, and one of those games was Topson himself a few years earlier, almost testing the waters. The build first showed up in a smaller tournament in the hands of amateur players, but if you think Topson was the first one to try it in an actual pro match, I have bad news for you. It was none other than the Chinese legend himself, the uncrowned king, Akke. On April 6, 2016, Akke bought Diffusal Blade at minute 21 during H-Cup against FlyFly's team, and surprisingly, he went for the same build we saw from the amateur players. Phase boots into Sage and Yasha into Diffusal Blade. So no, Topson did not invent the build. The idea existed before him, and the first recorded pro match belongs to Akke, but it would take another 1,236 days before Topson used Diffusal to engrave his name on the Aegis for the second time. To understand where the idea came from, we need to remember what Diffusal Blade was in 2016. This was still the old Diffusal many of us remember, the one with charges, the one with an upgrade into Diffusal 2, and a self-dispel. The item an enemy Ricky could buy to make your dust feel useless. But by TI9, Diffusal was a different item. It couldn't be self-targeted, didn't have charges, and couldn't be upgraded into the bright pink second Diffusal. For Topson'S Gyro, the important part was simple. Regular attacks burned mana, and as long as Gyro kept hitting, Diffusal kept draining it. OG were not trying to burst Liquid, they were trying to exhaust them. Bristleback, Omni Knight, Chen, these heroes are built for long, excruciating team fights. Bristle wants to keep spamming spells, while Omni Knight and Chen keep everyone alive. But Topson saw the Achilles heel of Liquid's idea. The longer the fights went, the less mana Liquid had to actually play it. There was a timer on there, and OG knew it.
They're on a huge timer.
And we didn't have to wait long to see the idea work. Topson doesn't have Ags yet, just power treads, drums, and Diffusal. Liquid walk up to OG's base, and the item does exactly what it was supposed to do.
"When your mana's gone, what do you do?"
Bristleback loses all of his mana, while Gyro deals 9,600 of OG's 24,000 total damage in the fight. And that changes everything for Liquid.
I can kill the Wisp.
I won't have mana.
Suddenly, every spell comes with doubt. Do you use it now? Save it for later. Will you even have mana later? That fight helps Topson finish Aghanim's Scepter. At 22:38, he gets the final item of this game. And when Liquid thought it couldn't get any worse, it did. On top of Gyro's own attacks, Sidegunner adds another random attack every 1.1 seconds, and the attack burns mana too. Less than 2 minutes later, OG were diving Liquid's fountain. There is nothing left to save the game with. At 22:34, GG was typed. What made this moment unique was not that nobody had ever bought Diffusal on Gyro before, it was that Topson brought a barely explored idea into a $15 million match against the exact lineup it could punish without even discussing it with his teammates. After a game like that, you'd think the community would agree unanimously that this was genius. And that didn't happen. At the time, Defusal also gave 20 agility, so suddenly the weird item starts looking a little less weird. The Dota community split into two camps. To some people, Topson had just helped win $15 million with a 3,150 gold item. To others, it didn't seem like a big deal at all. Agility hero, agility item, mana-dependent enemies. Case closed. So what do you think? Was it genius or was it obvious? Liquid had their own answer.
He won him the game. Well, my mana, BB mana, and he burnt. He just was so good. It's different.
But now it's actually GG. It's GG.
Actually, use my ulti on Timber to kill him, and
It doesn't matter, like, it's GG, the scaling.
And maybe, just maybe, watching a game like this makes you understand why an item like Eternal Shroud would eventually exist. But at this time, Liquid didn't have it. Their heroes were simply getting outscaled, and Defusal made sure there was no way back.
At the end of the story, it's been written already. It's us winning.
With Topson, it was an item choice that left a permanent mark. AdmiralBulldog's Nature's Prophet is a different kind of story. This one changed Dota on a conceptual level. It wasn't about one item, one team fight, or one hero feature no one else knew. Playing against Bulldog felt like being on a leash tied to your own fountain. The moment you crossed the river, another lane pulled you right back in. What looked novel enough to help Alliance win TI3 eventually became one of the most basic ideas in Dota. And when we look at how Alliance won TI, this idea kept showing up and up and up again. When they pushed out the lanes, the game felt easier to play. And Bulldog's Furion was the reason the map kept getting smaller for whoever played against him. Before Alliance, he was mostly a pub name. For newer fans, think of him as the 1.0 version of...
Bulldog is absolutely the Armory 1.0.
Bulldog was known for playing a ridiculous amount of Lone Druid, which is still his most played hero to this day. 785 matches, 65.3% win rate. But even with more games and a better win rate on Lone Druid, there's a reason Bulldog is the Furion.
The story says I wanted to pick a hero and I get to choose between Lone Druid and Furion. That's all I got to choose from.
Nature's Prophet wasn't rare at TI3. He appeared in 69 matches, the third most picked hero at the tournament. But the stats alone didn't look that scary, which probably explains why Na'Vi chose to ban Naga and Chen in the grand finals instead. Wow, remember when there was just 2 hero bans? Anywho, Furion was banned only 41 times, ranking 14th overall, and his win rate didn't look that threatening either. AdmiralBulldog had an 87.5% win rate on the hero with a 14-2 record, and even that barely dragged NP's overall tournament win rate to a measly 47%. Nature's Prophet was not broken at TI3. Bulldog was. And some players felt that more than others.
AdmiralBulldog Furion.
Why? Imagine being ahead. Your team fight is strong. It feels like nothing should stop you from winning, except the enemy just doesn't show up. Instead, you're fighting creeps, treants, and Necronomicon summons. You clear them, your tower is safe. You smoke to finally make a move, cross the river, and 2 of your towers are already falling. Alliance's opponents didn't need to imagine that. It was their reality. With Bulldog's Furion, Alliance popularized a playstyle that became known as Rat Dota. The label didn't start with Alliance, though. It became associated with split pushing after NS lost to Fnatic, got frustrated, and called them Dirty Rats on Twitter. From there, it stuck, and Alliance became the Rat Dota team. Rat Dota is not just tied to one specific hero, it can mean split pushing, cutting waves, dodging fights, or trading objectives when the trades are in your favor. At its core, it's simple. You don't play the enemy's game. If your 5v5 is weaker, if you're behind on gold, or if you just need one more item timing, you don't give them the fight they want. You make them fix lanes, defend towers, and spend the whole game reacting to you. And that's the trap. The more you push lanes, the less time the enemy has to play the game. Every smoke, Roshan, push comes with a question. Can we get back in time? If the opponent moves as 5, they expose 2 lanes to split push. If they split up, they become easier to pick off. And Nature's Prophet was the perfect hero for this playstyle. A teleport spell that doesn't share a cooldown with TP scroll, letting him avoid fights or join them whenever he wants. An army of treants that are annoying to clear and chew through towers quickly, a global ultimate that works across the entire visible map, pushing lanes, farming creeps, and moving you higher and higher up that net worth chart. Rich, hard to catch, And even if they finally kill him, the enemy spends most of his respawn time fixing the lanes. And then he's back, and the whole thing starts again.
It's game 5 of a best of 5 Alliance versus Na'Vi. $2 million at stake.
Na'Vi get the Aegis and instantly try to siege Alliance's high ground. They feel strong. Dendi has a second life. He is very farmed, and Enigma is sitting in the back line ready to turn the fight at any moment. But it takes around 40 seconds for Na'Vi to realize that 2 of their side lanes are falling. Dendi probably still remembers that TP scroll he chose to drop instead of his wand. Puppy's TP gets cancelled, Habost hesitates for just a few seconds, and in that game, every second was another hit on your barracks. Na'Vi lose 2 sides, and once that happens, the game changes. Their lanes start pushing in by themselves, making it nearly impossible to leave the base, and Furion's dream comes true. A few minutes later, at about the 35-minute mark, Na'Vi made one last attempt to siege Alliance's high ground, and Bulldog makes the call.
Yeah, I'm just telling them right now. I'm just pushing. Just delay them. Don't fight. Don't go all in fight. Just delay them.
That was the whole idea. Don't give Na'Vi what they want. Don't fully commit. Just delay them long enough for that last tier 4 tower to fall. Mission complete. Throne exposed. From there, we all know the rest. Dream Coil, relocate, Heaven's Halberd on Dendi, and AdmiralBulldog hitting the throne and celebrating all at the same time. Rat Dota is hard to respond to. You risk wasting time, losing objectives, falling behind on gold, getting outscaled, and no matter what you choose, something still slips away. Bulldog's Prophet showed how far that idea could go, all the way until that last hit of that throne in the finals. There's a reason
you are playing against Alliance.
It became Dota folklore. That is why Bulldog's Furion became bigger than just a hero-player combo. And years after Bulldog retired, if someone was reading some patch notes and said, hey, Bulldog's back, it can mean only one thing, that Nature's Prophet got a buff. While Bulldog made opponents feel like they were playing against endless creep waves, Akke made the game feel like 8 versus 5, bringing neutral creep's impact to a whole new level. It just looked unfair. Some of you are thinking, Chen, isn't that Puppy's hero? And fair question, but the stats are very much on Akke's side. After Akke's retirement following TI7 qualifiers, Puppy still needed 2,222 days to break Akke's record of professional games on Chen. Puppy's win rate, 66.9%. That's nowhere near Akke's 72.69% across 216 games. Akke was Alliance's enabler, but not in the simple everything for the cores way. It was a system, and in that system, Akke was the monolith of stability. The Alliance players could always rely on that pillar. On Chen, Akke was out of this world. His micro was ahead of its time. The jungle stopped being neutral. In Akke's hands, it became a weapon, and every camp gave him a different way to hurt you. That's 3 more bodies in a fight that you might not have wanted to take in the first place. Outside of the game, Akke was painfully down to earth. A guy balancing Dota with work as a game programmer, enjoying time with his girlfriend and friends, and being most excited to...
One of the things that I really want to do there is to visit a cat cafe. Like
a what?
There's a cafe where there's like cats there, so you can pet the cats.
When your team is described on the official Dota website as having an incredible run of first place finishes, you probably did something right. Alliance's 2013 ended with 9 first place finishes, not counting qualifiers. Akke wasn't just a TI winner. He was one of the reasons Alliance became the most dominant team of that era. A team that revolutionized macro play by extracting maximum resources from the map and finding the most suffocating ways to use them. And unlike Bulldog's Nature's Prophet story, Chen at TI3 was not a hero that teams tried but couldn't make work. Many teams had their eyes on it. Na'Vi wanted it, Alliance wanted it, IG, they also wanted it. The hero had 64 picks and 72 bans and a 63% win rate. So there was no question that Chen was strong that patch. Chen gave you strong lanes, tower pressure, global heal, and a support who could farm team items if needed. In Game 1 against Na'Vi in the upper bracket finals, Akke uses an illusion rune and a skeleton warrior to block the ancients. This game, Funnick was level 1 at minute 4, which meant Loda was free farming, while Bulldog on Bounty Hunter was just sniffing those creep waves, playing 1 versus 3. And this is where you see the smart draft decisions that prevents Alliance from being trapped. They pick Bounty Hunter offlane, a hero that can survive the tri-lane and compensate for the lack of net worth with 2 things. 1, a very rich Chen, the support who can farm jungle and then end up with the same net worth as a mid, plus Number 2, track kills. By minute 24, Bounty Hunter is 4th on the net worth leaderboard. Alliance have Mech, Drums, Vlads, and they run into Na'Vi full force and end the game. So, is this really just being rats, or is it understanding that Dota has limited resources? And Alliance weren't just taking more of them, they were making sure Na'Vi had less resources to play with. While farming the jungle, Akke would gank S4 and protect him whenever he felt threatened. In other situations, he could almost single-handedly get first blood with just a creep. Odie has always been annoying to lane against, with endless astrals that help him secure both CS and denies, so Akke thought S4 could use a little help and casually killed the enemy mid, and then went back to his own business. He was not limited to sitting in the jungle, and he was definitely not limited to split-pushing playstyles. Akke always looked for new ideas for his favorite hero. In Akke's hands, Chen wasn't just a piece of the Rat Dota puzzle, he was one of the reasons Alliance could keep dictating the terms of the game. But Akke's name will stay in Dota for as long as stats websites are alive. Remember when we said Akke could take everything for the core to an extreme? Well, he took it so far that he accidentally created an award. Akke once won a game on Skywrath Mage and ended it with 0 last hits. And from that very support syndrome accident, the Akke Award was born. Seb, Zayak, Maposhka, Crit, Misery, Kuroki, Saska, all of them and many more have received it since. A far cry from my supports who will take the flag creep in front of me and ping it so that it says, need 3,800 gold for Aghanim Scepter. This is Micke. Micke looks like he's having fun no matter what, and that's the trap, because the moment you relax, the moment you don't take him seriously, he reminds you that this is also Micke. Loyal, hardworking, locked in, one of Liquid's biggest assets. Blitz vouched for him, and Micke never gave him a reason to regret it.
Victor was like, we sure about that? I'll double down my career on this guy, 100%.
He switched roles, adjusted his playstyle when the team needs it, expanded his hero pool, and kept delivering. Somehow, he did all of that without ever making the story about him. Because at TI in 2024, Micke turned Whirlwind into a full-blown windstorm. Before 2024, Micke had played only 4 professional games of Windrunner in his entire career. He picked her up when the hero started appearing as a flexible mid and position 4 at the start of the year, and became one of the few players willing to push her all the way into carry. Before TI, he won 13 out of 18 Windranger games in 2024. Then at TI, he finished 4-1 on the hero. In less than a year, Windranger went from unseen in his hero pool to a hero people started associating him with. And while other teams did pick Windranger, for too many of them, the game still ended with Lyrel asking,
defeated?
In Micke's hands, the answer was always,
I don't think so.
So how did that happen? Micke found and showed the strongest version of his Windranger, where the playstyle, item build, skill build, and matchups all came together. For over a decade, Windranger had one job: find the target nobody else could pin down, delete them, and get out with Windrun. Then facets arrived and Windranger got the first iteration of Whirlwind. At first, it looked like a meme. Tailwind was safer, more consistent, and early 7.36 Dota 2 Pro Trackers numbers had Whirlwind at around a 24% pick rate and 43% win rate. Fun in Turbo? Maybe, but not something to win TI with. The problem was obvious. For Whirlwind to hit multiple targets, the squishy Windranger had to be in the middle of the fight. And she couldn't just delete one target anymore. Whirlwind could only hit the same enemy once every 4 attacks. Then, 7.37 changed the deal. Whirlwind got a 150 attack radius buffer. Now the spell worked from Windranger's attack range plus 150. With that, and items like Dragonlance, she no longer had to stand on top of people just to make her ultimate work. The facet buff solved one of Windranger's problems, but that wasn't her final form yet. Rod of Atos gave her HP she badly needed, Maelstrom, farming speed, and Elemental Chains gave her a reliable AoE disable, something to set up Whirlwind and Shackle Shot. So that fixed 3 more problems. What was left was the late game damage, something that could scale, burst, and deal with ethereal targets, and of course, a player who could put all the pieces together. Revenant's Brooch was the item, Micke was the player. Brooch was reworked back in December 2023. Before that, the item was 6,200 gold late game upgrade of Witchblade. It gave a big intelligence boost, and its active turned your next 5 attacks into magical True Strike kits. That could hit ethereal units and reduce magic resistance. So naturally, it mostly showed up on mids like Puck and Storm Spirit. After the rework, Brooch became a Sacred Relic damage item. It gave plus 70 damage, Spell Lifesteal, and Phantom Providence. And Phantom Providence became a toggle. Attacks cost mana, dealt magical damage, and could hit ethereal units. Later, attacks created by abilities stopped consuming mana. This version of Brooch found new inventories, mostly in Mars and Phantom Assassin. At TI 2024, Revenant Brooch finally found Micke's inventory. Micke was the player who put all of these pieces together: Whirlwind, Gleipnir, Brooch, and out of nowhere, the squishy Windranger who used to hunt one target could run into the middle of a fight and make heroes disappear like... It got to the point where Liquid could pick Windranger on 8th against their eternal nemesis, Gaming Gladiators, and still come out untouched. Literally. Gaming didn't ignore Windranger, they tried to answer it. They had support Shadow Demon to dispel Windrun. They had carry Morta. On paper, this was supposed to work. In reality, Micke didn't die a single time. This game showed how hard it was to solve the all-in-one Windranger package Micke had built. Let's look at the BO3 against Gaimin more closely. Micke's build progression already says a lot. Double Bracer, Arcane Boots, Javelin, Gleipnir, BKB, sometimes Hurricane Pike, and then Revenant's Brooch. Double Bracer was everywhere at this TI, and for Windranger, it made perfect sense. She needed to survive early ganks long enough for Liquid to connect, and because she was a universal hero, those cheap stats turned into damage. He was in and out of Twin Gates, he used TP whenever there was a fight worth joining, and this is where his sacrificial team-orientated playstyle came in handy. 33 was having a rough game, level 5 at minute 10, even after picking up the Wisdom Rune. That kind of start was very unusual for him, but Micke's early movement helped buy time. He avoided ganks, connected to team fights, and kept finding value with precise power shots and applied just enough pressure for 33 to stabilize. Micke was keeping up with Quinn in levels, and eventually 33 caught back up too. At Copenhagen TI, tanky heroes were everywhere. Daedalus would have given Windranger a chance for a few huge physical hits. Brooch, on the other hand, gave Micke a different answer. Plus 70 damage, 20% spell lifesteal, and the option to turn his attacks magical. Suddenly, High Armor and Crimson Guard became unreliable. Ghost Scepter stopped saving supports, even Morta's ultimate wasn't an escape. Micke's item build attacked the High Armor meta at its core. Before 2024, Windranger was barely part of Micke's hero pool. By the end of TI, and to this day, Micke and his Windranger are one of Liquid's sharpest weapons. Time goes by. Some players who changed Dota are now living completely different lives. But the marks they left are still there. In the way we play, in the way we remember them, and in the data SAP lets us trace across thousands of games. You pick Gyrocopter and wonder if this is the game to copy Topson. You get split pushed across the whole map and feel bad for Na'Vi in Game 5. You look at Chen and wonder how Akke made neutral creeps feel scarier than heroes. You read patch notes, see an item rework, and ask yourself if there's something hidden there. Something as perfect and timely as Revenant Brooch on Micke's Windranger. Because in Dota, no hero is ever truly fully defined. Every patch and every item opens another possibility. And in a game with almost endless ways to play a hero,
what does a hero truly need? That is for you to decide.